Hello, welcome back. Today I'm going to do something with postcards that have got not exactly the most beautiful images on, and this has been inspired by a couple of things actually. First of all, the lovely Kerry from Whichcraft Do You Do, who is doing a series on postcards, so I was kind of going to go and repeat watch some of those. And then I made some many moons ago where I actually sewed onto the back of postcards where they'd been writing. I stitched some vellum or tracing paper so you could still see the writing but right over the top. But those images were much prettier. This time I'm going to use some that I'm not so keen on. These ones I can't use because they've got addresses on the back and I haven't covered those yet. So I'm going to just pick one that maybe, let's do that one. So I'm going to do these two postcards. Now, like I said, this one has got an address on the back and I really like this writing, so I want to keep that. I want to be able to use this writing. This one will be, there's a little bit of writing here, but we're going to have obviously a little bit more journaling space on this one too. What I do is just use a little bit of scrap to cover up the address because it's kind of, especially putting it onto YouTube, it's probably not the best idea. And also it gives you a tiny little bit of writing space if you want to use that in your journal. So I've got 2 sheets of tea-dyed paper. I'm not going to measure because, as I have proven, I can't measure very well. So I'm going to just fold this in half, this piece here, because it's almost the width of my postcard. It's a little bit out, but it's okay. I'm going to cut along that line using my trimmer. So for now, I'm going to line that up and just draw another line here where I want to cut this sheet. Cut along that line there. And then I'm going to trim to that little mark there. So that is going to roughly fit onto that postcard. This one, I'm going to use some coffee dyed paper and I'm just going to see if this will fit on here. And I'm just going to lay my postcard down and fold that over. Right, this is perfect because I actually want a bigger gap here. So I'm going to show you what I do in a minute. Put my postcard on, draw my little line, and trim that. So that is going to fit on here. Haven't finished with my trimmer yet. What I'm going to do is I just want, I don't know, a little gap here. So what I'm going to do is trim that edge of what I'm going to call the front. So how I got to this stage was I remembered the lovely Gayle, quite a long time ago now, made some what she called faux fronted envelopes, which were fantastic. So I've kind of taken inspiration from that as well to create these. So you can see what I've done. I'm covering the postcard, but I'm leaving a little bit of a gap here like that. So the postcards can go aside for a minute because these are the pieces we're going to be working on. I will need the trimmer back in a moment. So what I'm going to do is find some book pages that will fit. They're a bit too narrow. This one you can see I've used. So we'll use a duck. Actually, I think I'm going to use the smaller one. I'm going to put the duck on the smaller one because that's going to fit nicely, and I'm going to use the flowers on here. So I'm going to trim these down So back with my trimmer. Now, I'll show you how I'm going to do this. Again, I'm not measuring. So I'm going to line my image up with my piece of paper, turn this over. I'm going to make a little line there and a little line there. Cut this one down. So that one is going to fit on that. And I'm going to do the same with this. That is going to fit on there. So that's the second piece done. We've now got the postcards, we've got the piece to cover the postcards, and we have our images. Now you don't have to cut a whole image out. You can decoupage or collage onto your pieces as you like. I'm using a straightforward piece of book page, so it covers the whole plain section. Now I have got 2 sets of stamps. The first one is, it's a Creative Expressions, Lisa Horton, I think, and the set is called Creative Borders, just if you are interested. I've put it onto a stamping block, but it's the actual piece that's wobbling at the end I'm going to use. And all I am going to do is take my stamp and just stamp in a few places to get a bit of text showing. I'm not going to overthink this. So we've got a little bit of text on each one. You can decide where you want it and how you want it, what text you use. You can use a bigger typefaced stamp if you like. I am just using this as a little bit of a additional pattern, let's say. Right, so that one's done. I'm now going to use this one with the little spots on just to fill in a bit more. Again, not overthinking it. And lastly, I am going to use these stamps from, again, Kerry Fellows. They are Witchcraft Do You Do stamps, and they're the number ones. Just going to grab a number. I've got something else I want to add to this, so I'm kind of being careful where I'm going to add the stamps that I want to see. Right, so that's that for the stamping. Now I'm going to look for some labels. I'm just going to rummage around in my label drawer until I find right. I'm going to go for these. So you'll notice I haven't inked the book page part yet, because that's actually easier to ink once it's in place. Just going to ink my labels very quickly. Right, and now I'm going to glue my labels into place. So I've got a few of these as well. I'm not sure, I'm not going to use I think maybe I'm going to use this one on here. So these are some just fussy cut pieces. Yes, I do. Haven't used these yet. I've got a couple of the postcards that I think are going to look great with some of the travel, the simple travel kit and the travel labels that I put out earlier this week. I think they're going to go really well because they have those kind of travel colours, postal colours I suppose you'd call it. So now these are ready to glue into place on this particular piece. Uh-oh. Okay, I've made a bit of an error there. Didn't quite line that up correctly, so I'm just going to trim a little bit of that. Right. So now we can ink. It's just a little bit more sturdy. It's easier to ink when it's glued into place. Would have helped if it was glued into place properly. Okay, we're still not quite ready to glue these down. I'm going to grab my tab punch. Now, you don't have to use a tab punch. You can use just a piece of cutout, just a cutout piece. Let's use a different shape just to show you. Okay, this one is a tag punch, so I'm going to use that for this one. It can be a plain square, it can be any shape, it doesn't have to be this shape. And I'm just going to check the back of each one. I think I'm going to use the map side for the ducks, and I'm going to use the green side for this one. So what I want to do is just make a fold. Yeah, that'll do. Just make a fold so you've got a little flap on there. Now I'm going to ink the front of these. I'm not going to worry about inking the back because nobody's going to see them. Ink that one too. Right, now let's do the birds first. So I'm just going to open this up and glue that left hand side. Nice and simple. And glue, so this is only the back piece that's gluing here. Glue there. And then I'm going to do the same with this piece. Now I've only got a little bit here, so I'm going to glue. Whoop. That was a bit pants. Okay. Hold that. And put that in place. So now I've got these two little openy uppy bits. Okay. That one I didn't glue particularly well, so let's just flatten that down. That's a bit pants as well, isn't it? I've got a lot of overhang here, so I'm just going to trim this there. Okay, so I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and I'm going to open it up and put a zigzag stitch down here. So it kind of looks like it's stitched to the envelope, but it's not going to be. This side, I'm going to close my tab and I'm going to run a straight stitch down here just so it holds that into place. Okay, so I'm going to do that on both of them. Straight stitch down the little tab and zigzag stitch down the edge while it's open. So I'm going to do that and be right back. So that's my sewing done. Check these. Some of these are a bit long, but I like to leave my tabs, as you know. So what will happen is that will slot into the little tab like that, and now we can glue these to our envelope and finish off. So I'm kind of happy with how they have turned out. There's just one more thing I want to do. So on the back of this one, these stamps are not kind of the prettiest stamps in the world, but like I said, the whole reason I'm keeping the backs is because I like the text. So I'm going to go to I'm just going to cover up that existing stamp. So I'm going to add this one here. I'll keep that pink. It kind of matches with that stamp. And then I want a stamp for this side, and this is the floral one, and it's a little bit pink. So let's find a kind of stamp that will go. Well, that's a nice big one. So let's add our stamp. Right, now I'm going to take my stamping block, and I've got my, this is one of the stamps off my Kerry Fellows set. Take that, just check which way round it goes in the light, and we'll put a little stamp there, and I'm going to over stamp that one that's already there, and one there, just to finish those off. Away. Right, so there we go. Let's have a look. They're kind of, like I said, they're inspired by the lovely Kerry and the wonderful Gayle. Gayle's video is definitely called Faux Fronted Envelopes, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it to link it below. I'll try, because it's quite an old video, and I'll see if Kerry's got a playlist for her postcard series. But you can obviously open these up, lots of journaling room, and then you've got the pretty backs as well. So I've made a few more. I have this one with florals, and another floral one, and a couple of birds. So I hope you found it interesting, mildly. I will be back soon. Take care. Thanks very much. Bye.